Hello, this is Alan, welcoming you to the 1972nd edition of the Enfield Talking newspaper, Dateline 25th of September 2014. The readers this week are Sonia, Jenny and myself, with Ian on the controls. The items that we will be reading come from our local newspapers, the Enfield Gazette and Advertiser and the Enfield Independent, and are their copyright. Our title music is, as you well know, Country Rock Polka, composed by Pat Pree, Fernand Bouillon and Harry Breuer, and performed by Jean-Jacques Perry, and is used with his kind permission. Local stories this week include Winter Warmer, Stand Up and Listen, MP voices worries on GP surgery closures, meeting held to allay fears after beheading. We've got some special notices, so I'll just read those out if I may. First of all, a big thank you to everyone who responded to our survey about going digital. 2/3 of our listeners have responded to say they would like more information or buy or test a boombox. We have started the process of contacting all those listeners who have asked for more information or support. And if you have asked for information, we will be in touch soon. London Transport has organised a one-day-only event called Access All Areas to look at current and future innovations aimed at making it easier for everyone to get out and about in the capital. Access All Areas is a one-day-only event that takes place on October the 2nd, 2014 at XL London between 9:30 and 16:30. The day will feature a range of interactive exhibits and activities, including life-size mock-ups of tube and rail stations and street environments, and an innovation zone, including a bus which tells passengers when there are empty seats upstairs, freeing room for people who need it downstairs. To register and to view travel arrangements and the agenda, please visit www.tfl.gov.uk/access all areas, or email tflaccessibility@tfl.gov.uk, or phone 0343 222 1234. As this is a public exhibition, lunch will not be provided to visitors. However, XL has a wide range of affordable food outlets, or you are welcome to bring your own food to eat at the event. There will be a travel ambassador, volunteers on hand to help you get the most out of your day. If you have any specific needs, then let the organisers know when you register. ETN is one of a number of organisations which feature in the RNIB's Sightline directory, which offers a free web resource providing information about local clubs and societies supporting blind and partially sighted people. Type in your postcode to find out about the groups near you. Visit the website at www.sightlinedirectory.org.uk. For any help or more information, you can ring the RNIB Sightline Help Desk on 020 7388 1266 and ask for extension 8003. If you are experiencing any problems receiving your Enfield Talking newspaper, please phone Diane de Jersey on 020 8805 6578. She is your listener's representative and will, of course, be pleased to help you. Now, Sonia will read the first item of local news.
A veteran campaigner for the elderly is inviting senior citizens to an event aimed at preparing them for the cold winter months, an initiative which could save lives. As the winter months draw near, Monty Meth, life president of the Enfield Over 50s Forum, has been promoting the organisation's Beat the Winter Cold information event, which will be held in the Market Hall at Egmonton Green Shopping Centre on Wednesday, the 1st of October. The latest figures show that, with 179 excess winter deaths, Enfield ranked 10th in England and Wales for residents dying as a direct result of the cold during the 2011 to 2012 winter. The following year, 147 people died. Speaking ahead of the event marking Older People's Day, Mr. Meth said, "Having the warmest September for 50 years should not prevent us preparing for the winter ahead. It is so important that people keep warm and not get those illnesses that drag them down and can kill them. We want to live longer and in good health. This event is all about how to do that, and it's a great way to celebrate Older People's Day." Speakers will include Edmonton MP Andy Love, Enfield Council's Head of Energy Management, Andrew Whelan, Enfield GP Alpesh Patel, who is a member of the Enfield Clinical Commissioning Group's governing body, and Christine Tate from British Gas. They will advise on matters including how to prepare healthy winter food, getting energy bills down, and where to get the flu jab next month. Enfield has more than 10,000 households living in fuel poverty, meaning thousands of people are having to choose between heating and eating each year. But, according to the council, more than 1,200 households who have joined the Big London Energy Switch since April 2013 have already saved an average £140 on fuel bills. This month, the council launched Smart Homes, which offers grants of up to £6,000 for residents to improve the energy efficiency of their homes. Residents can apply for funding until March on a first-come, first-served basis. Mr. Love added, "Nearly 10% of households in Edmonton live in fuel poverty, and it's older people and those who are vulnerable who are suffering the most. It's important that we mark Older People's Day as a way of drawing attention to these issues and actioning change." The event starts at 10 a.m. and a free hot lunch will be provided. For more information, contact the forum on 020 8807 2076.
Sunday League football teams are considering a day of protest because they claim the borough's pitches are not safe to play on. Teams in the Cheshunt Youth Football League have launched an online petition to improve the standard of football pitches across Enfield, with some teams postponing matches for fear of injury. In a meeting between teams, Alf Fajardo, development officer at the league, stated that the £1,570 price tag for 11-a-side pitches on a Sunday for the highest grade pitch was ludicrous. He said, "We have had meetings with council officers to stop the increase in price, but nothing has changed. It's completely ludicrous and, quite frankly, a joke that these pitches are classed as grade A when they are not fit for purpose. I have been in football for years surveying pitches. The day will come when something happens, one of the goals will fall down and it will injure someone. We saw a goal fall down on its own at Jubilee Park. Teams cannot pay £1,500 for this product any longer. It's like going into a shop and only getting a left shoe." Several other football teams expressed concerns with square goalposts and pitch lines not being redrawn after games on Albany Park, Ponders End Recreation Ground and Brackendale Park. Mick Breen of Percival Football Club told the Enfield Independent he had postponed matches this season, deeming them too unsafe to play on. He said, "We have called off games for the first few weeks because the pitch is not safe at Durrance Park. The goals are unsafe and there's concrete around the posts, which would seriously injure a goalkeeper if they dived onto it. We would be happy to pay money for pitches that are Grade A, but these are far from it. Obesity and gang levels in Enfield are already high, and without youth football, those numbers are only going to go up." Stelios Tritios of GFA Enfield has been forced to play his team's games at Wilbury Primary School and told the Enfield Independent that his sides could not play on the pitches any longer. He said, "We had to move from Albany Park because the pitch was substandard. We had a drain in the middle of the pitch, the goalposts were swinging, and people were driving mopeds across the pitch." Since the 2008-2009 season, there has been a reduction in the number of clubs from 64 to 36, and Mr. Fajardo believes that things are only getting worse. He added, "We need to stand up to these prices and get the product we deserve. We supply the corner flags, referees and balls for games. All the council supplies is the pitch, and it's totally unacceptable that these pitches are not being delivered. We have launched an online petition, and we will, if it comes to it, boycott all Sunday League matches. The council needs to stand up and listen. This cannot go on like this, and we need to change the council's mindset." The League is preparing a report on football pitches in the borough to deliver to the council to show the extent of the pitches. An Enfield Council spokesman said, "Enfield Council is a passionate supporter of youth football and is committed to providing good quality sporting facilities. We have been working with a number of teams over the past 6 months to identify areas of improvement and will continue to do so. We strongly dispute the allegations that any of our football pitches are unsafe. Referees have the final say on whether or not a game should be cancelled on safety grounds, and that has not happened in Enfield so far this season. We are not aware that any of last weekend's matches were cancelled. Because of the large volume of training sessions, the council carries out a continuous programme of reinstatement work, and after inspection prior to the weekend's games on September the 21st and 22nd, all the goalposts were securely installed."
Well, let's hope the goalposts won't be changed or moved. Edmonton MP Andy Love has raised concerns over figures showing that 12 GP practices in the borough have closed in the past 3 years, while only one new surgery has opened. The closures came to light after he tabled a series of parliamentary questions which also revealed that the average GP practice list size in the borough had increased from 4,775 patients in 2009 to 5,798 patients last year. Last month, an annual report by NHS England found that about 15% of people in Enfield who tried to book a GP appointment over the past year had to wait a week or more, amounting to 46,835 patients who faced what Mr. Love described as an unacceptable delay. With GP surgeries closing, practice list sizes increasing, and appointment waits growing, it is clear that the government's cuts to our health service have resulted in reduced provision in Enfield, said Mr. Love. We need investment in new GP practices locally to reverse the closures of recent years, and we need the government to reinstate the guarantee to see a doctor within 48 hours. Without that, we risk putting people's health at risk. Mr. Love is also in favour of ensuring a GP appointment on the same day for those who need one, and has added his weight to the Save Our Surgeries campaign, which seeks to increase support for surgeries in deprived areas. NHS England said it could not comment on GP closures before it formally came into existence in April 2013. However, a spokeswoman added, since April 2013, 3 GP practices in Enfield have given their notice to resign. Following engagement with patients and assessment of local capacity, it was decided in each case that the patient lists would be dispersed. The average patient list size in Enfield continues to be below the national average. A surgery at the new Ordnance Unity Centre in Ordnance Road, Enfield Lock, will open its doors to patients next month. And this summer, Enfield North MP Nick Dubois and Enfield Southgate MP David Burrows proposed new powers for GPs wanting to open their own practices based on the free school model. Sonia.
A public meeting has been held following the brutal death of Palmyra Silva in Edmonton earlier this month. Enfield Borough Council and the borough's police teamed up to host the meeting in an attempt to allay the fears of people living in the area. The 82-year-old was beheaded in a horrific attack in her garden in Nightingale Road, Edmonton, on Thursday, September the 4th. Around 50 people attended the meeting at Eldon Junior School in Eldon Road, Edmonton, on Thursday, September the 11th. Enfield Council's Cabinet Member for Environment and Community Safety, Councillor Chris Bond, said, "The meeting was to discuss and understand any concerns residents may have so they can be dealt with. We want to help people feel safer as well as be safer." The incident in Nightingale Road was not connected to terrorism, extremism or gang crime. It was an extremely rare, tragic event. While it is understandable that people are concerned by that event, it is important to remember that crime in the borough is dropping over the longer term, and the council and police are working really hard to keep. We have offered individual support and reassurance to those who were immediately affected by the events in Nightingale Road, and will continue to do this as necessary. Chief Inspector Ian Kibblewhite of Enfield Police said, "This meeting was an opportunity for local residents who were more closely affected to speak directly to police and partners. I hope that this has helped to resolve their concerns and allow residents to work towards a return to normality."
Primary school pupils were given an early morning treat as part of a campaign to help breakfast clubs. 10 pupils from years 5 and 6 at Lavell Road out on Thursday morning as they took part in the big operation, Players Fund for London. Pupils arrived at Marks and Spencer in Palace Gardens, Enfield Town at 8 a.m. for a nutritious breakfast before being quizzed on fruit and veg and then helping at the tills. Sarah James, Year 5 teacher and maths curriculum leader at the school, said, "It was a bright start for our pupils who got to learn all about fruit and vegetables as well as helping out people behind the tills at the store. Most of the children said their favourite part was the meal and learning about the working environment, which is very important for their future." 7 other Marks and Spencer stores across the capital took part in the event to support the Breakfast Club programme, which feeds more than 2,500 children a day. Teresa Azil, store manager at M&S Enfield, said, "The London's biggest breakfast event at M&S Enfield was a huge success, and we are proud to have been part of such a fantastic initiative. Each of the local children thoroughly enjoyed choosing their own healthy breakfast from our nutritious range, as well as learning about fresh produce through a quiz on fruit and vegetables and a guided tour of the store. It was hugely enjoyable and incredibly rewarding for both the school children and our staff."
You're making me feel hungry. The funeral of former councillor and social services champion Pam Adams was held last week. Miss Adams, a Conservative, served on Enfield Council for 20 years, during which time she dedicated herself to improving social services care for the elderly and services for visually impaired people. She was 85. The funeral at Enfield Crematorium in Great Cambridge Road, Enfield, on Thursday was attended by more than 50 people, including Enfield Mayor Ali Bakir, current and former councillors, Enfield North MP Nick Dubois, and Enfield Southgate MP David Burrows. Mike Rye, former leader of Enfield Council's Conservative group, delivered a eulogy. Miss Adams was first elected in the Southgate Green Ward in 1990 and later was elected in Turkey Street, a seat she held until 2010. She also served as Deputy Mayor and on various committees, and took great pride in chairing the Council's Social Services Scrutiny Panel. Miss Adams was also made a Freeman of the Borough of Enfield. After the funeral, a reception was held at the Ruth Winston Centre in Green Lanes, Palmer's Green, a community centre for the over 50s, of which Miss Adams was a trustee until last year. Chris Rash, chairman of the centre's Board of Trustees, said she cared deeply for the disabled, the elderly and partially sighted. Miss Adams also served as president of Enfield Vision, a charity for visually impaired people. Cockfoster's ward councillor Anne-Marie Pierce, who read out a poem at the funeral, said of Miss Adams, "If she got something in her head, she would fight tooth and nail to make it happen. She was very dedicated and made life more positive for blind people. Always wearing high heels and smoking lots, she was quite a character. She did things in her own way."
A landmark department store has brought a taste of the West End to the borough with a raft of new designers and brands. Pearson's in Church Street, Enfield Town, celebrated its new look on Saturday. A new escalator will whisk shoppers to the first floor where they can browse through items before heading to a new Italian cafe. Speaking to the Advertiser, Ian Turner, marketing manager for Morley's stores, who own Pearson's, said customers and staff were treated to something of a party. There was candy floss and popcorn for customers, and a steel band played for us all. He also said it was quite a symbolic opening, because 50 years ago, the owner of Morley's, Bernard Driesman, cut a ribbon on the escalator of its Brixton store when he was 7. Now, his 7-year-old son, also called Bernard, cut a ribbon on the new escalator in Pearson's. The new look store also includes a restaurant and a children's play area on the top floor. Added Ian, "One of our customers came up to me and told me that they did not have to go into the West End anymore because we have everything here. That's as good an endorsement as anything."
A hair extension company has been given the cash boost it needed from a start-up loans scheme. Yolanda's Discount Hair in Whitehead Close, Edmonton, was one of more than 150 local businesses to receive a helping hand from the scheme Enterprise Enfield, which works alongside the North London Credit Union based in Enfield. 2 years ago, Yolanda Harris set up her online business but struggled to expand it. However, 13 months ago, Miss Harris's business received the financial backing it needed to get going. Since Enterprise Enfield provided the £2,000 to the entrepreneur, she told the Enfield Independent that she has been able to pay for new stock and enhance her online status. Miss Harris is happiest about being able to start a new online business following the success she had buying different types of human hair. Edmonton MP Andy Love met some of the people who have benefited from the scheme and described the current system as encouraging. Entrepreneur Joseph Thurston Kofi decided to take the plunge into the business world with his IT company, Multilink IT, in 2012. He said that we were managing, but we wanted to move on to the next level, and it needs a heavy online presence. In November 2013, Multilink IT received £4,000, which, according to Mr. Thurston Kofi, gave us a more solid base in terms of exposure. The computer guru has now developed the company's website to a high standard, which attracts more customers. The government's Startup Loans Scheme has so far provided almost £570,000 to 100 new businesses in Enfield North and almost £330,000 to 55 businesses in Southgate. Nick Dubois, MP for Enfield North, said, "This means more jobs and opportunities for my constituents, with further loans still to come."
Pupils at a primary school were amazed when a pumpkin they planted in their playground grew bigger than some of the children. Children at St Edmund's Primary School in Hertford Road, Edmonton, planted seeds in their school garden just before the start of the summer holidays and expected little to come of it. To their amazement, they were welcomed back to the school by a massive pumpkin that had grown throughout the summer. The enormous squash measured 1.5 metres in diameter. Science coordinator Catherine McCarthy said, "We planted the seedling in June and looked after it carefully for 6 weeks, but then we all went away on holiday and it had to leave it to take care of itself. Imagine our surprise when we came back last week to find this monster."
An MP is hoping to reach the podium in the dog-eat-dog world of political canine competition. Enfield Southgate MP David Burrows and his 2-year-old Labrador, Chumley, finished third at the Westminster Dog of the Year competition last year, and Mr Burrows is hoping to become top dog this time around. Judges from the Kennel Club and Dogs Trust will be focusing on the training and education of the dog and how it strengthens the bond between dog and owner. The MP said, "Chumley is a wonderful companion and my biggest supporter. Often found charming local constituents in our Southgate and supporting door-to-door canvassing efforts. Chumley will now take centre stage to compete at this year's Westminster Dog of the Year."